Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Joy Taylor, here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Joy. How are you today?
Good.
You okay, Skip?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
How was your weekend, Skip?
It was just sensational.
You don't think it was bad. It was terrible.
Trying to be Shannon Sharpe today.
I
saw you this weekend. I was watching on NFL Network all the Super Bowl highlight shows, and it has you on the sideline talking to Brian Billick at the end of that Super Bowl, and I couldn't even remember you playing in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did you play in that? The Ravens over the Giants?
Oh, yeah, we got
It just went on and on. There was no highlight of Shannon doing anything. And then all of a sudden, he's over there cutting up with Brian Billick at the end of the game. Isn't that just like the guy you know?
Have they scored again? I mean, it is
no,
like
yeah.
15 years later, they still ain't scored another score.
What was it, like 34-7?
30-40. My job was done, Skip.
Yeah.
My job was to get them there.
Big play show.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is just 6 days away, so let's start here. Pro Football Focus ranked all 106 players on the Eagles and Patriots, and to no one's surprise, Tom Brady was ranked as the best player in the Super Bowl. Rob Gronkowski was second, but the Eagles have 14 players in the top 20. Their starting quarterback, Nick Foles, was not one of those players, though. He was ranked 53rd, even behind Brian Hoyer. Shannon, what do these rankings tell you?
Wow.
Wow.
The Patriots got some good players, huh, Joy? If you didn't know any better, my guy across from me like, hey, Tom Brady's doing this with some mop buckets, some squeegees, orange peels, and a bar of soap. The second best player in the game behind Tom Brady is who, Skip Bayless?
Wait, is it my turn to go?
No, it's not your turn. You could answer if you feel. No, I'm looking at this thing. Deion Lewis is the 11th best player in this game, but Pro Football Focus says he's the 5th best running back in all of football. Huh? How do you do that? Trey Flowers. Oh, who's Trey Flowers? You know Trey Flowers? I don't know Trey Flowers. Huh? He ranked high? Wow. So lo and behold, just because it's not Von Miller, just because it's not Pat Peterson, doesn't mean they're not good players. And what we're starting to see is that the Patriots do have good players. Just because they're not household names doesn't mean they're not any good. Yeah, we know the normal cast of characters. We know who Tom Brady is. We know what he represents. We know what Gronk does. We know he's one of the most dominating players in all of football. I believe he's the most dominating non-quarterback on the offensive side of the football. So it's no surprise. But it just goes to show you that the Patriots, well-coached, very disciplined team, have very, very good players. Now, the only thing, another thing. Chris Long. Did Chris Long play with the Patriots last year?
Well, he does not play for the Patriots now. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you notice that on the list?
And was a passing thought. Now he comes here. He's one of the best players on the Eagles defense.
What does that tell you?
That just goes to, it shows me that the Patriots, they plug other guys in and get the same kind of production. Now, granted, we know Chris Long, he said, look, I loved it here. It was great. They work hard. We have fun. We won a Super Bowl. But I need to go where I can be a defensive end, where I can do what I really do, which is get after the quarterback and not just play a certain scheme.
So now he's getting to do what he does best for the Eagles defense, right?
Yes.
And he's ranked in the top 20 of the players in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh.
Interesting.
It's funny because I could have swore if I didn't know better, he was on the Patriots last year, Super Bowl 51, and they won, and he got one of the most important penalties of the game. Skip, can you tell the people what he did? What did he do?
He forced a holding call. Correct? But wait a second.
Yeah.
Is he still in the Patriots?
No.
I'm confused.
No,
he's on the Eagles now.
I'm just going
so
to.
Tom Brady actually has to play against Chris Long in this Super Bowl?
And the guy, and Joy, I'm going to turn it over to Skip because I really don't want to go any further because I want to, punch holes in this case. There's an offensive lineman that's filling in for an all-pro, Pro Bowl player that's going to the Hall of Fame. He goes by the name of Big V. He's ranked 101 out of 106 players in the game. He's ahead of the long snappers and the punter. There's a special teams player that is ranked in front of Big V, Joy, who doesn't have a special teams tackle. But Skip Bayless wanted you to believe that Big V is shutting it down. Think about that. Let that sink. People at home, I want you to let this sink in. The starting left tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles is ranked 101 out of 106 players in the Super Bowl, behind both long snappers, both punters, and a special teams player that has yet to record a tackle. Skip, you tickle me.
Have you heard Big V's name called in the 2 playoff games so far? Have you heard his name called?
I just said what.
Has he given up
Pro
sacks?
Football Focus. You love stats. You love numbers. Pro Football Focus. They the one that came up with QBR.
Joy, would you please tell me when it's my turn?
Yeah, it's about to be your time right now. Let me see. I got some more stuff, but it's your turn now. I got some more stuff.
He ran out of
Oh,
ammunition
no, I got
on
another
schedule.
See, I got another card right here. See?
Oh, do you?
I keep 2 cards
I
open.
think that's on LeBron and the
No, don't do that.
Cavaliers.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I know how that
I keep a tool on deck.
As usual, Shannon Sharpe is viewing this list. Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, with, dare I say, rose-colored glasses, but I think they're actually green-colored glasses, as in eagle green-colored glasses. They're certainly Brady-hating glasses. So let's go back to this list as yet another hardcore, scout-driven example of why Tom Brady is still being underrated in this football game. Because this list should actually have Tom Brady at the top on his own list, and then we could have another list that starts with number 1 with Gronkowski.
No, it goes 1 through 106, and
Okay.
Tom Brady is number 1. So stop.
Okay, so Tom Brady is number 1, which is interesting, but number 2 is the man, Rob Gronkowski, that we talked about last week. And I made the case to you, and I believe it even more today after I've had time to sleep on it, that the New England Patriots are even better, or at least a little better, without Rob Gronkowski. I don't care if he plays in this game or not. Obviously, he practiced, he's still not cleared, but we both believe he will play in this game from concussion protocol. But I have already made the case, and it was funny how last week you were kind of going along with me about this.
About what?
That without Gronk, Tom Brady won last year's Super Bowl. He didn't have Gronk for the last 8 games last year and got to the Super Bowl. Then in the fourth quarter and overtime, as they cut away at a 28-3 Atlanta lead, Tom Brady, with no Gronkowski, fourth quarter and overtime, threw for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is astounding to me. No Gronk, as Rob Parker kept saying, Rob Gronkowski, Rob Parker. No Gronk, no hardware? Nope. No Gronk, hardware. Trophy, Lombardi Trophy, Tom Brady.
Had Tom Brady, up until that point, ever won a Super Bowl without Rob Gronkowski on his roster?
No, but he hadn't had him for that long anyway. And he was hurt in the one that they lost, obviously the second one. He tried to limp through the second loss to Eli. But my point is that what did you see in the AFC Championship game? I think you saw Rob Gronkowski go down and out late in the second quarter, and Tom Brady was even better in the second half than he was in the first half with no Gronkowski. And Tom Brady threw for 138 yards against that Jacksonville defense in the fourth quarter, down 10 with no Rob Gronkowski. What does that tell you, Mr. Sharpe?
It tells me that Trey Flowers, that's why he's ranked on this list. It tells me Malcolm Brown, that's why he's on this list. It tells me Stephon Gilmore, that's why he's on that list. See, all you like to do is try to accentuate Tom Brady's numbers in the fourth quarter. But in
I'm not accentuating it. I'm just telling you what they are. I'm spitting facts at you.
Well,
they're irrefutable.
They are. But also what's irrefutable is that in those fourth quarter, 10-point or more comebacks, the defense has given up 3 points. That's also very irrefutable. So I don't care what Tom Brady does. If the defense does not get him to the ball back without getting points on the board, Tom Brady is not doing what he's doing, Skip.
Okay, I will give you that small point. But you are missing the larger point that on this scout-driven list, this is second-level stuff. This is the rankings of scouts from Pro Football Focus by how each of these players perform through this regular season into the playoffs, right?
Yes.
At this point, they are this valuable, 1 through 106 in this game.
Yes.
All the players ranked in a row.
Yes.
14 of the top 20 are Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
6 of the first 10 are Philadelphia Eagles. And by the way, of the 14 of 20 that are Eagles, 10 of those 14, so 10 out of 20, play for the Eagles defense.
Okay.
So Tom Brady is up against the defense. Can I just quickly run through him. Fletcher Cox, do we disagree on that? Is he not a stud rusher and defensive tackle anchor to the defensive line? Is he the best defensive player in the game by far? I think by far he is. And then we got Brandon Graham and Patrick Robinson and Michael Kendricks and Vinnie Curry and Ronald Darby and the aforementioned Chris Long and Malcolm Jenkins, who I have a lot of respect for, and Nigel Bradham and Tim Jernigan. Those are all listed off the Philadelphia defense in the top 20 in this game. Do you think Brady's up against his biggest challenge this year? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. And the Eagles defense, he's going against a guy that's number one at his position, Tom Brady. They're going against a guy number one at his position, Rob Gronkowski.
But is there any surprise that the spread has now been bet down from 5.5 to 4.5? It's because this defense is loaded and because of what Nick Foles did against the number one ranked Minnesota defense the other day.
And also because what do we know, Skip Bayless, in all the Super Bowls that Tom Brady has participated in, whether they've been a favorite or they've been underdogs, the game is normally about 4 points, the last year's Super Bowl notwithstanding.
Okay, so back to the top 20 players ranked by the scouts. 3 of those Philadelphia Eagles ranked of the 14 of the top 20 are on the offensive line. One of those is obviously not Big V, but guess who's on there? Jason Kelce is number 3 on the list as the center, the anchor, the driving force of the run-blocking Philadelphia Eagles line, right? Number 3 on the list, Jason Kelce. Am I right about that? And then number 10 is Brandon Brooks, the offensive guard, and number 13 is Lane Johnson, the right tackle. So 3, 10, and 13 are all protecting Nick Foles. How many Patriots offensive linemen are ranked, Shannon Sharpe, in the top 20 of these players?
None.
How about 0?
Yes.
How about a big 0? So Tom Brady, who you said all year, boy, he's taking a lot of punishment. He's getting sacked a lot more than he was a year ago. He's taking a lot more hits. Am I right?
Yes.
So he's going to be under fire from probably the best pass rush he's seen, because I told you I didn't think Saxonville's pass rush was all that imposing. This one is serious business, coached by Jim Schwartz, wide 9, tacking off the edges, blowing lots of blitzes through the gaps. I got to tell you, he's going to be under more fire in this game than he has been in any game all season.
But if you take this by position, did you realize, Skip, that David Andrews is ranked 5th of all centers in the NFL, and Lane Johnson is ranked 6th at his position?
So what's your point? I don't get what your point is.
You get my point?
I don't.
Lane Johnson, at his position of tackles in the NFL, he's ranked 6th.
Okay.
David Andrews, the center for the New England Patriots, is ranked 5th. What part don't you get about that?
I don't. And your point is what? What's your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is that if you take it by position, David Andrews is better at his position than Lane Johnson is at his. Now, I don't know, Joe. I don't do good with math because scratch paper.
Wait a second. Jason Kelce, the center for the Eagles, is number 1 at his position.
Yes.
So the Eagles center is way better than Tom Brady's center, right?
Way better. So 1 to 5 is way better.
Well, on this list, it's way better.
Oh, hold on. So let me ask you a question.
We got 3 to what? What's David Andrews?
So if you don't mind me asking, okay,
23?
I just want to make sure.
I just backed you right into a corner, and now you're scrambling to get out again.
Actually, that was the move I wanted to make, because this is what I want to make right here. Tom Brady is number 1, who's starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. Let me flip about 5 or 6 pages right here, because I got to get to the Eagles starting quarterback. Then I did John. See, I backed him in the corner. Oh, I got to go 10 pages, 11 pages, 13. Hold on, wait a minute. I got to go all the way to 53. They got Nick Foles ranked behind Brian Hoyer, who got released, was 0-6 at the time, threw 4 touchdowns, more interceptions. Nick Foles has more touchdowns than interceptions, but he's ranked behind a guy that was 0-6 and was released.
Wait, the Eagles' backup quarterback, Nate Sudfeld, is ranked ahead of Nick Foles. Okay, so
that's what we're up against. A Bill Belichick coach defense is going up against a Nick Foles who's ranked behind the guy that's playing behind him.
Okay, so the scouts' point about Nick Foles, which I completely disagree with, is he has the highest variance of any quarterback, meaning he can be wildly inconsistent. He can go from playing well to poorly like that. And we have seen some history of that, but I'm going to say again, if you look at his big picture stats, Nick Foles, in his career, regular postseason, he's thrown 66 touchdown passes to only 29 interceptions. That's not the 53rd best player in this game. And by the way, in his 3 playoff games, 5 touchdowns to 0 interceptions,
Yes.
75% completion, 72 of 96 passes he's completed. That's outrageously good through 3 playoff games. So that's laughable to put him down at 53rd. I will give you that. He should be ranked at least somewhere in the top 20.
But I'm trying to figure out if they say this about Nick Foles, that the variance in how well he played from here to how poorly he can play over here, is there's a wide discrepancy. What the hell have they been watching with Brian Hoyer? There's a reason why he's been on 8 teams. If the variance wasn't swaying so much, he wouldn't have been on 8 teams. Nick Foles has gone to a Pro Bowl. Nick Foles once had, still has, historically one of the top 5.
27-2.
Yes, if you just look at the numbers and the QBR, he has one of the all-time great seasons. Brian Hoyer has never had an all-time great season.
No, he's had some decent ones. He has. He's not bad.
Brian Hoyer plays just good enough to get himself cut and to get the coach fired. That's what we know.
Okay. So I will give you that point. That's the one big issue I have with this whole list. But the other issues I don't have, because what you neglected to point out is that after Gronkowski, who I say is overrated as Brady's go-to receiver, because Brady forces way too many passes to 87 when he's in the game.
Even though he has the least interception rate throwing the Gronk than any other player on the team. But go ahead.
Okay, so let's go to Brady's other quote-unquote targets. How far down the list do we have to go to Danny Amendola, his go-to guy in the Jacksonville game?
We only got to go to 11 to get to Deion Lewis.
Okay, well, he's not a constant target. James White's a constant target. He's down at 50th on this list, right?
Hold up. Deion Lewis ranked 5th at the running back position.
Yeah, but he's more of a runner than a catcher. Okay, I'll give you that. He's 11th. But we have to go down to 32 for Danny Amendola, 38 for Brandon Cooks. As I said, James White's 50th. Philip Dorsett has been a big disappointment, all the way down at 76th out of 106 players in this game. And now we get to the crescendo. A guy I used to really trust and love, Chris Hogan, is ranked 89th out of 106 players. Why? Because the scouts say he has been remarkably ineffective since he returned from injury.
Right.
Who is Tom Brady throwing to? After Gronk went out the other day, who is he throwing to here?
Amendola,
Amendola,
James
32 on the list.
But
wow.
hold on, but Skip, you say Danny Amendola is 32. You make it seem like Alshon Jeffries and Aguilar are in the top 10. They're 27th and 28.
Okay.
So there's not a wide variance between where they are and where Amendola is.
I did have an issue with Zach Ertz being only 24th. I think he belongs to the
I mean, think about that. Zach Ertz was a Pro Bowl tight end. He's 24. Rob Gronkowski is number 1 at his position. He's number 2 of 106 players that's going to line up and play in U.S. Bank. That's the name of the U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank. Rob Gronkowski, by these metrics and these analytics, is the second best player that's going to touch the field on Sunday.
Interesting.
I mean, dang. I mean, how it would be a marvelous. Just think about it. The likelihood of you having the 2 best players. Now, I know a team that currently plays in the NBA that you can make a case they got the 2nd and 3rd best player in all the NBA. Is it a coincidence they have the best record in the NBA?
You're confusing me. Which team are you talking about?
Them old Golden State Warriors.
Oh, well, they have the first best player.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they
don't do that, Skip.
Well,
That's so unbecoming of you.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's just the truth.
No.
So, last point.
Okay.
Bill Belichick, such a great head coach. He covers, he crosses all the T's and he dots every I.
All of it.
How important is the kicking game, Shannon Sharpe?
Yes.
How important? Big?
Yes.
Big?
Yes. It's won a couple of Super Bowls for it.
Yeah, it has. Who's at the bottom of this list? I don't know if you got that far down to that 100 to 106 category back there. The very rock bottom. This list, did you get there?
Yeah.
Can you help me out with who's 104th on this list?
104th. Oh, yeah, Ryan Allen.
Ryan Allen, that's the punter for the Patriots, 104th. Can you tell me, go back just a little bit more to 99. Do you see 99?
Yeah.
Who would that be? Stephen Gostkowski. Oh, that's the Patriot place kicker. And by the way, who's dead last on the list? Dead last is the long snapper for the Patriots, who they say is a liability.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Patriots, Skip, is that, and you know this, their punter is not about distance. He would rather you put the ball 15 yards and put the ball at the 10, as opposed to punting the ball 40 yards, punting it in the end zone, and they're getting the ball at the 15 yards.
Okay, scouts know that, and they just don't like him. They think he's inconsistent.
But Coach Belichick loves it. He hadn't gotten rid of it. We know Coach Belichick loves left-footed punters, and because if you think about it, Gronkowski very seldom kicked the ball out of the end zone. He likes for him to kick the ball really high, about 1 yard deep. He wants to entice you to run the ball out of the end zone because they believe they can get you inside the 20.
Yep.
So, and look, I don't believe Gronkowski's been the same guy since he missed that PAT in Denver
I
in the
agree.
championship game.
I agree.
But he's still a very solid kicker.
But he had a couple of slumps this year, which are pretty scary, and you would hate for it to rear its ugly head in this game, right?
Yes.
So, big picture takeaway, Tom Brady has no offensive lineman in the top 20, and after Gronkowski, you go down to his receivers, they're just a bunch of guys.
He has the fifth-rated center of all of football. Andrews. That's what they say. Shaq Mason.
But Kelsey is number 3 on this list. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's interesting.
Shaq Mason is the 9th-rated guard.
So it looks like this list is Tom Brady on one list and everybody else on the
So
other
out of
list.
64 guards, Jordan, you know there's 2 guards, left guard, right guard. There's 32 teams, that's 64.
Yep.
Shaq Mason is ranked 9th at his position. David Andrews, there's 32
Where's
centers.
Brandon Brooks? He must be way up there because he's way up there on this list. He's 10th on this whole list.
So, in other words,
Interesting.
think about this, Skip. Do you know, I was just going through
Who do you
this.
think has the better offensive line, Eagles or
Joy.
Patriots? What do you think, Shannon?
Do you know this?
It's the Eagles by far.
I don't know if
Thank
Joy
you.
knows this.
Thank you.
The 41st ranked player that's going to be playing in Super Bowl 52 is James Harrison. A guy played 15 snaps for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'll give you that one.
Played 60 snaps for the New England Patriots. He's the 41st best
I
player
buy
that's
that.
going to touch the field.
I agree with that.
So lo and behold, what we're starting to realize, the New England Patriots got some pretty good players.
No mercy.
In 6 days, Tom Brady will play in his 8th Super Bowl. We're joined now by Rob Parker.
What's happening? Good morning,
Here we
everybody.
go.
What were you saying that he's not going to automatically win the MVP? How dare you, Joy? It's not
Automatically.
over.
Hey,
Here we go.
Joy, you see what you
No. The regular season is over.
I know, but they didn't hand him the
Well, he's
MVP
going to win the
trophy.
regular season MVP, and he's going to win the Super Bowl
Skip,
MVP.
you see
But that's not
Skip
important.
good. Look at his wrist, Skip.
Oh, yeah. Rob,
Look at it.
Rob upgraded a little.
He got another watch
okay.
that's as ugly and cheap and
No,
generic as the other one.
Shannon, stop. That's a nice watch, Rob.
No, it's not.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it is.
Who
Skip.
buys breath mints and a watch at a convenience store? Who does that? Rob Parker.
Rob, your watch is nice. Skip, let me start with you. Has Brady gotten too much or not enough credit for the Patriots' success?
I want to hear this.
Hear me out, Rob.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Tom Brady personally off the field. I don't care about off the field. I'm talking about on the football field. I'm the biggest fan of Tom Brady, and I do not believe he gets nearly enough credit outside of Patriot Nation, and it just eats me up because his career to date, even just to date, already deserves a separate wing in your Hall of Fame. That's how great it is just to date.
No.
Yes. And just for perspective, I step back and I say, all I hear about Tom Brady, especially on this show from these two, is the discount, discredit, negative this, negative that. Why this? It's Belichick. It's Gronk is 50-50 credit. And I look at some of the other athletes we dealt with in the last couple decades. Let's look at Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Was he not embraced as the greatest ever? Any problems with him? Any negatives about him?
No,
Did he-
six championships, six
Did
MVPs.
he struck nothing but awe in everybody who observed him. Am I right about that? And yet, I can make a case that in the clutch, Tom Brady has been even greater than Michael Jeffrey
Not with
Jordan.
2 losses on his resume in the championship game.
I can show you what he did in the first championship game.
Oh, he lost twice.
You know, he lost twice to Eli. So wouldn't that make Eli the better quarterback?
Makes him the better quarterback. So let's look at Peyton Manning. Is he not embraced? Was he not beloved as the greatest quarterback ever? That's all I heard, right? Am I right about that?
Not from yours
Okay,
truly.
but despite the fact that Peyton Manning ended in the postseason 14-13, and that included a 3-game winning streak at the end of his career that
Correct.
won the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
14-13, including that.
Yes.
And all I hear on this show is that Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady. And I just sit back in awe of that because Aaron Rodgers has been to one and only one Super Bowl, and since then he's 5-6 in the postseason, and he's been to a grand total of 3 championship games, NFC championship games, while Tom Brady's been to 12, including 7 straight AFC championship games. That's just extraordinary. Yet all I hear is discredit, negative. All I hear is it's his supermodel wife. It's his aw shucks, gee whiz, too good to be true media persona. Am I right about that? That's all I hear on this show. I even hear about avocado ice cream and Ugg boots, right? That's what I hear on this show. And just for the record, just a couple of the marks that he's already set, and he's about to play in his 8th Super Bowl. Just look at this. He has 27 postseason wins already. Guess who's second on that list? Montana was 16. 27-16, that's second place. Number 1 in postseason passing yards. Second on the list is Peyton Manning. Tom Brady is 2,382 yards ahead of second place Peyton Manning on that list. Extraordinary. Number 1 in completions over second place Peyton Manning by 243. He's completed 243 more postseason passes than Peyton Manning ever did. Game-winning drives, he has 11. Next on the list is your guy John Elway with 5. Extraordinary. 8 fourth-quarter comebacks.
Game-winning drives that resulted in him throwing a touchdown? Is that what that is?
I don't know exactly how you
No,
define
because
it.
it can't be. It must be about field goals.
Yeah, okay. All right.
just
Well, that's no, but that wins the game. Does that count?
No, it counts, but I'm just
But you see what he did there? Now, that counts because Tom Brady led it,
Right.
and Adam Vinatieri did his job. Gronkowski did his job. But Ray Allen hitting a three-point shot in the corner, that wasn't Ray's job. Ray was supposed to be handing out water at the time or getting
What are
concessions.
you talking about? It wasn't his job. It was his told job. He saved LeBron's legacy with that shot.
So
He
what
was
did-
the
what
clutch
did
shooter
Adam-
on that team.
So how did Adam Vinatieri
Hey,
get
it's
to be
part
known
of football. I don't like it, but is it a rule that you get to kick a field goal?
How is Adam Vinatieri get the moniker the greatest clutch kicker in NFL history?
Help me out. Did Adam complete 5 passes to get him in position to kick the 49-yard?
No, but Jim Kelly did, and Scott Norwood missed the field goal.
This is a wait.
And he's paying for it for the rest of his career.
Okay, but this is about Tom Brady.
All I'm saying is how we
Then
view it, Skip.
Against Carolina in the next Super Bowl, he had to complete 4 big passes, including a big third down conversion to set up Adam.
What
Vinatieri.
happened?
What happened
to
before
Vinatieri?
that?
What happened?
What happened before that when the kicker kicked the ball out of bounds to start the drive?
Okay,
You remember
but
that?
Rob, do you remember what happened against Seattle? 124 yards passing in the fourth quarter against the Legion of Boom and 2 touchdowns to come from 10 points back to win the game?
Rob, he
How-
didn't
how
tell you
did-
that New England's defense did give up a point in the fourth quarter to Seattle's offense.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead,
you
continue
need
with your point.
a little bit of help, but
Oh,
again,
listen. You see what you do?
Wait. Time out. You are discounting 124 yards passing against the Legion of Boom in the fourth quarter and 2 times. It's extraordinary.
Earl
It's
Thomas-
impossible.
Earl Thomas is playing with a torn
please.
labrum.
Oh, give me a break.
Oh, he was not.
Tom Brady played with 12 stitches in his hand
Skip Bayless. I can't
against
even believe
Jacksonville.
Skip.
Well, I don't care.
Skip.
Don't give me Earl
Skip.
Thomas. I'm not giving you 12 stitches. I didn't even bring it up. You brought it
Earl
up.
Thomas tore his labrum.
Oh,
Cam
please.
Chancellor was playing with a torn knee ligament.
Oh, give me a
Richard
break.
Sherman was playing with a torn elbow ligament.
They look just fine to me.
Oh, I can't even believe
Julian
it.
Edelman ate him alive. Way to go. That's
Oh,
all
my goodness,
Tom
Skip.
Brady. And then who throws for 246 yards in the fourth quarter and overtime of a Super Bowl to bring a team back from 28 to 3 down? Tom Brady did. That should just end this discussion right here, right now. Not to mention that against Jacksonville, he loses Gronkowski again. Didn't have Gronkowski against Atlanta in the Super Bowl last year. Loses him again for the second half and throws for 138 yards in the second half and is even better without Gronkowski. And I've made the case, Rob, you weren't here, but he is a little better without Rob Gronkowski because he gets so Gronk conscious. You know, he's
Trying to get him the ball.
Forcing the ball to 87. I like him better spreading it to Edelman and what's left to Chris Hogan and a little pop pass to James White. That's how they
Skip, can I ask you a question, if you don't mind me asking? Over the last 22 minutes of the game in Super Bowl 53, what responsibility did Brady have of holding the MVP and that offense to 0 points over the last 22 minutes of the ball game in Super Bowl 53?
Which game is that? Help me
Super
out.
Bowl 51.
You just
what-
changed it to 53.
Super Bowl
Well, we
50
haven't played 53 yet.
Super Bowl 51. What role did Tom Brady play in the
I don't
last
even know
22
the
minutes?
numbers. Who's the opponent? I don't even know what the numbers
In
are.
Super Bowl
Atlanta.
51.
Atlanta.
Super Bowl 51.
Sure, yeah.
Atlanta.
In the last 22 minutes, The Patriots defense allowed 0 points. Can you tell me the role that Tom Brady played into that?
I can tell you hugely what role. Matt Ryan and his coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, are looking across the field at number 12 saying, we got to do something to keep 12 off the field. And they started to choke. They tried to do what they had done. They tried to keep throwing the football instead of running the football because they're up against number 12.
Okay.
You know it, and I know it.
Let me,
the mystique just echoes across the field.
I believe Tom Brady gets too much credit because in his 17 years as a starter, Tom Brady has had 14 top 10 defenses. But here's the thing.
Has he had a 1 or a 2 or 4? No?
Scoring defenses?
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
Has he had a 1?
Yes.
No, he hasn't.
So Tom Brady's never had a number 1 scoring defense.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so. I know so. But anyway, here's the kicker. In those losses, he lost to 2 teams. One of them was ranked 17th in scoring D, and the other was 25th. One was a 9-17, the other was a 10-6. But we give him all this credit for. So I.
Well, what did he do against the first Giant team with 2 minutes left in the game? What happened?
Skip.
He threw it to Randy Moss for the go-ahead touchdown like he always does. Is that not? Was it his fault? Was David Tyree his fault?
They averaged scoring 36 points a game. They scored 14 in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Whose fault is that?
Well, his offensive line, he's never had a very good
it's his offensive line fault.
Were they not all over him the whole day? They were all over him the whole day. You told me that.
Okay.
You said, that's the way you beat Tom Brady.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Rob.
Okay,
but
let me get 2 seconds in.
I will. At no point in time when Tom Brady was coming back and throwing for 243 in the fourth quarter and overtime did he mention the offensive line. He said Tom Brady. But when he loses, it's always someone else's fault other than Tom's.
And the notion, Skip, that you say he doesn't get enough credit, Tom Brady gets so much credit. I thought he was an American Express card with unlimited credit. A black card, because it's always about Tom Brady. Not only that, you mentioned the defense. In the Atlanta and Seattle game, they didn't give up any points in the fourth quarter, which is part of it. None of that is ever mentioned. Adam Vinatieri kicked 2 game-winning field goals in football. 2 of the first 3 Super Bowls, right? And the first Super Bowl that they won with the tuck rule that year, he threw 1 touchdown the entire postseason, Skip. 1 touchdown, and they won a Super Bowl, and he gets all the credit like he did everything. So all I'm saying is, not that he shouldn't get some credit, but it's over-the-top credit for Tom Brady. It's ridiculous. Other guys are on that team.
I don't hear
Everybody
any
thinks
credit.
that it's only about Tom Brady.
What do you mean you don't hear any
credit?
They always say he's the greatest.
Would anybody have ever had this discussion with Michael Jordan going to his 6th NBA Finals? Nobody would say,
he never
but look at what he did. Look how much help he had. Look at Dennis Rodman.
Because the difference is Michael plays on both ends of the equation. He can steal the ball, he can block a shot. Tom Brady is at the mercy of his defense. Just
like Aaron Rodgers has been in his career, the mercy of his defense.
Ben Roethlisberger threw 5 touchdowns. 470 yards. But why couldn't he generate any ground? Because his defense couldn't stop the Jags from scoring.
And they scored 45 in Pittsburgh.
My point. That's all we're saying.
And except for one of those Super Bowls, Tom Brady has not had any go-to, get-behind-you deep threat receiver. He had Randy Moss for 1 Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
And they couldn't win.
And they lost with Randy Moss.
Because you know why they lost? Because they scored 22 points. It's less than what they scored in the regular season. That's why.
Wasn't that the undefeated season?
Yes. The Giants were 9-7, had the 25th rank. Now, you would think the greatest quarterback of all time
would eat that alive, that defense.
We talk about, do you see what he did to Legion of Boom? Did you see what he did to Saxonville? The 25th ranked defense.
So no Rob Gronkowski the last 8 games last year, and Rob Parker's saying no Gronk, no hardware. No Rob Gronkowski for the second half against Saxonville, and help me out. What happened? How did he do that?
Yeah, we've seen teams win. The Giants won a Super Bowl without Phil Simms, Jeff Hostetler. So it's been done.
This is about Tom Brady.
That's my point. Skip.
There's never been anything like him.
But you're saying he gets no credit or doesn't get enough?
I want to get this on the record, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Famer, is saying that Tom Brady is overrated. correct?
How did I say that?
You just made a strong case that he's
All I'm
overrated.
saying,
It was this, it was Belichick's
I didn't say he
defense.
was overrated.
Yeah, you did.
But all you want to make it about that when he loses, it's someone else's fault. Well, he gave him the lead. He scored 14 points. You didn't mention anything about how well the offensive line protected in the second half of that ball game. All you told us was about the 243 that he threw for in the fourth quarter in overtime.
Don't discredit him. It's 246.
Okay.
Oh, wait a
yeah.
minute.
But you didn't mention the offensive line. But all you did when he got beat, did you see that pass rush? Name the time that we've mentioned the 2007 Giants defense as opposed to the 2000 Ravens or the 02 Bucks or the 14 Seahawks or maybe the 70 Steelers. Oh, they don't.
What's by far the hardest position to play in sports?
I don't know what's
It's
hard.
quarterback.
Tight end.
It's quarterback. I know it, I know.
So now we make it it's hard.
Well, it's just the most important position in football. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
thank
So is
you.
Tom Brady the first and the only guy that's ever played the quarterback position?
No.
Okay, I'm just
But
making
No,
sure.
just
wait.
the best. We gotta leave it there. Yesterday, Tom Izzo was questioned about the allegations at Michigan State, and we'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Yesterday, Tom Izzo was questioned by ESPN reporter Tisha Thompson over sexual assault allegations at Michigan State. Last week, ESPN reported former Spartan basketball player Travis Walton was accused of multiple assaults against women, but no charges were filed. Let's take a listen to Izzo yesterday.
In 2010, Travis Walton was charged with assault and battery for punching a female student in the face. There were witnesses. She was injured. Why was he allowed to continue with the coaching staff and be with the team while charges were pending?
Well, as I said before, we'll cooperate with any investigation and always have. We've done it before and we'll do it moving forward. And that's about all I'm going to say on it, that we did cooperate with everything.
We want to give you every opportunity to answer questions. There's a lot of questions. A big one is, why did Travis leave the program in 2010?
I don't know what you mean. He graduated.
He was with your staff throughout 2010. An allegation came forward later that year that from a woman and her family to the athletic department that he and two of your players raped her. He then left the program later that year in 2010. Why?
To be honest with you, I don't remember why he left. I know he went to Europe to play, and as you know, I'll still say I'll cooperate with any investigation that's made. I did it then, I did it before, and I'm not going to answer any questions that aren't pertaining to either basketball or things that I am not going to talk about right now.
Let me ask you this question then. Looking back at the way sexual assault allegations have been handled by your basketball program, do you have any regrets?
I've cooperated with every investigation, every one, and I will continue to cooperate with every investigation, every one.
We're joined once again by Rob Parker. Rob, you covered Tom Izzo and the Michigan State program for a long time. What's your reaction?
One of the toughest things I've ever seen, Tom Izzo squirming, being asked good, direct questions by the ESPN reporter who did an excellent job of journalism.
Good job.
Absolutely. And the one thing that was always talked about with Tom Izzo was always, people felt pride in that community that he coached the right way, he did the right thing, that he didn't run a dirty program. It was always, that was Tom Izzo's shining light. And he was able to get to all these Final Fours, and he won a championship back in 2000. But it was about how he ran his program. He was not like the other coaches, and he was never going to was going to go that route, and was always going to be on the straight and narrow. I don't see that Tom Izzo anymore. And I think, Skip, here's the part that bothers me. Tom Izzo owes it to that community, to those fans, to his players, to those survivors of these incidents, an explanation. And he can't run from this, Shannon. You are going to have to answer the questions, because we live in a different world. These things are not looked at the same way, where you can just be like, well, I don't remember. That's not good enough. And the Travis Walton stuff is as bad as anything that you could have out there. That there's not one incident, there's 2 incidents.
Right.
And you have no idea, he was on your staff, you have no idea why he left or what went down. It's a dark day at Michigan State and for Tom Izzo. This guy's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
His legacy is on the line, and I think Tom Izzo has not. Look at how Tom Izzo looks on that video. Is that the Tom Izzo you remember from a month ago?
No.
He looks worn, battered. He understands he is in hot water, and I've never seen Tom Izzo in this light.
It's going to be very difficult for Tom Izzo and Mark D'Antonio to withstand this.
Yep, I agree.
The president has resigned. The AD has resigned. It's going to be virtually impossible. And the Magic released Adrian Payne. Travis, the young man that they were talking to, Walton, he's on suspension, on leave in the G League until they get this thing sorted out. Skip, the reporter asked him, she said, Tom, do you have any regrets? And he says, well, I've cooperated. See, if he says he has regret, that means he's done something wrong that he wants to apologize for. He can't admit that, because if he missed that, he's admitting he knew and he did nothing. He can't go there, Skip. And that's why he says, he also said, I've cooperated. They didn't ask you if you cooperated. This is a very tough spot to be in, because we view things in this situation, this Me Too movement now, Joy, and everybody knows this, is different, Skip. And what we see going on now is that it's not good enough for the coaches to say, I've cooperated. You know everything about that's the one thing about college coaches. That's why they love coaching college as opposed to the pros. Because you get to control these players 24/7. You know everything that they do. And so for him to say, well, I don't know why he left, or I don't know this or that.
Remember.
He's being disingenuous. And this is why he and Mark D'Antonio will not be able to withstand this, Skip. I don't see how they do it. And with the situation, and you're looking at it, and this doesn't make it right, but let me tell you what the university is probably thinking. Basketball at all universities, basketball and football, those are your money makers.
Yep.
They basically support everything else. So even though they had this gymnastics Dr. Nasser on staff, and they heard all these allegations, well, if you do something with him, and you got 16 allegations against football players, and you got these allegations against basketball players, they just like, we just gonna let him ride because we don't want to upset the apple cart over here. That's ridiculous. I'm telling you who else is not gonna be able to survive this. NCAA President Mark Emmert.
They say new.
They say it's been reported that he had direct firsthand knowledge of what was going on. And now he don't know anything. But he know what amateurism is. He know the difference between an amateur and a pro. But he don't know nothing about this here. A lot of heads are going to roll in this situation. NASA was the tip of the iceberg. But they finna go down, and they finna go down, 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 and they're going to go real deep, Skip. And this thing, the Michigan State, it's going to be Penn State. But it might even be bigger, if you can believe that. Because this engulfs 2 programs.
Yep.
Penn State was just about the football program. It didn't touch the basketball program. Now you got football and basketball and 2 well-known names. This is not going to end well for Michigan State. I'm sorry.
It already hasn't ended well. And just for the record, Mark D'Antonio's football programs, the allegations against, the proven incidents within, run much deeper than the basketball allegations and incident run. But that doesn't absolve Tom Izzo of any blame, and I'm with you, Rob. Tom Izzo is beloved by the national and the local
Media.
And yet, to your point, Tom Izzo to me was so thoroughly unconvincing answering those questions that surely he had thought about, and yet it just seemed like he was caught completely off guard and was just teetering on his feet the whole time.
Yes.
And it did not speak well of his future at this institution. So, bigger picture. Oh, and by the way, just a quick point. he did one. He's been to 7 Final Fours, Tom Izzo, and they did win 1. And the most outstanding player was Mateen Cleaves.
2000, right?
2000, and he now has sexual assault charges that are going to go to county court. So he's got one hanging over his head also, and he was the most outstanding player. So we've seen bigger picture, a seismic shift in this country, starting with the Me Too movement, but it's now come down to these football and basketball cultures that have operated, starting with Baylor University, that Baptist bastion on the Brazos River down in Waco, Texas. Was that not a scandal? Was that not the tip of this whole iceberg here? It started there.
Well, they tried to clean it up, Skip, because remember the basketball player that got killed by a teammate. So they tried to clean it up and then...
Scandalous. So we go back to your days, my earlier days, covering college sports, you playing college sports, and once upon a time, it was business as usual when winning was everything in college sports, winning at all costs. Remember, they used to recruit the prettiest co-eds to help recruit the recruits when they came on their recruiting trips to campus, right?
Show them around.
Yeah, so you almost encourage this culture where big man on campus can do whatever he wants with whatever women are on campus.
Yes.
It's almost like your personal harem will be right here on campus, right? And that has run completely amok, starting with Baylor and even at my school, Vanderbilt University. What happened when winning at all costs took over and James Franklin was the head football coach at my school? A rape scandal happened right in between 2 9-4 seasons by James Franklin at Vanderbilt, the doormat of the SEC. The second of those 9-4, I'm sorry, the first of the 9-4, he won 5 SEC games, which is just impossible.
Yeah.
And they won 2 bowl games to cap off those years. And right in the middle of it,
That.
rape scandal. Okay, so here we go again, winning at all costs. It's like football factory, sort of basketball factory, right? NFL pipeline, NBA pipeline, and what happens? Run amok, no control. Isn't that how we're supposed to do it? Isn't that what the fans want, right?
Yeah. Did they not learn anything? It just happened not even a year ago. Louisville, Rick Pitino, the president, the AD, the head coach. Rick Pitino, I don't know anything. I don't know nothing about a brothel. Well, he probably didn't because he was too worried about being in the restaurant where he wasn't supposed to. What he had on the table wasn't what he ordered from the menu. That's why he didn't know what was going on, but he did know. Because I guarantee you, you go ask Nick Saban which of his players is going to class. Ask Nick Saban what his players are getting in their class. He knows. But now all of a sudden, nobody know nothing. I don't know why he left. I don't know what happened. Oh, I'll cooperate.
And I think in Izzo's case, what's so damning is this whole notion. We know how he's held in esteem in that community, right?
Yes.
But the idea or notion that a woman could have been raped and Tom Izzo turned the other way, that is very difficult to swallow. And for people who have always had respect and admiration for him, to find out that this is how he operated, it's a stunning blow to your belief in people and just this notion that there are good guys and there are people who are doing the right thing. To think that Tom Izzo is one of these guys who did not do the right thing.
We just saw Bob Stoops, Skip. Because here's the thing. What we're starting to see, Skip, this is what they'll do as long as they don't think anybody will find out. But because remember Bob Stoops, when the Joe Mixon thing became public, the first thing he said, we should have released him. That's not what you said. You saw the video. You and the president was one of the 2 people that saw the video before it ever got released to the public. And you thought the punishment was him being away, staying in good graces, don't get in any more trouble. That's good enough. But the moment the public found out that you saw this tape, now we should have released him because that's not how we want to do business here at Oklahoma. And so what we're starting to see is that Tom Izzo, Mark D'Antonio, had it not been able to be found out, they would have been perfectly comfortable.
What we're seeing is all these coaches are finally getting slapped in the face with, this is no longer acceptable.
No.
Well, you don't run successful programs by being wild and free, so nobody believes that he had no knowledge of anything that was going on. The constant widespread nature of all of this is never surprising to me, and I think that's a big part of the Me Too movement. But that press conference to me seemed as if he was coached that he should say one thing, but he wanted to protect himself. So he was kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth. Great job out of the journalist, but it's going to be very difficult to come back from that.
No mercy.
The Cavs have won back-to-back games for the first time since mid-December after blowing out the Pistons last night. LeBron finished with 25 points and 14 assists, and Isaiah Thomas did not play at all in the fourth quarter. With Isaiah on the bench, the Cavs outscored Detroit 31-17 in the fourth. After the game, he was asked about that. Let's take a listen.
Ty said he used you to close with the third, and then the rhythm of the guys that were out there in the fourth, he stayed with that. What was your take on not playing out there?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? I'm just glad we won.
Things could be a little bit different when Dwayne returns, but Ty wants to kind of stagger you and LeBron and have you both have time with the second unit. How does that help you to get extended time with that different personnel?
We talked about it, so I think that needs to happen. My minutes just can't be with LeBron at all times. We gotta play to our strengths. I mean, just like Chris Paul and James Harden, they don't play together at all times. You got to play to their strengths. Kyrie last year, they didn't play together at all times. So he's figuring it out, and we're figuring it out as a unit, how to use our strengths. And at the same time, we know, for the most part, we start games together, finish games together, stop. And we go from there. So it's a learning process, and we're still learning each other. I mean, I'm still learning this team, and Ty Lue is still learning how to use me and use me to the best of my ability.
Shannon, will sitting Isaiah fix the Cavs?
Skip, did you hear what he said? He said, yeah, like Chris Paul and James Harden. Like Isaiah and LeBron last year.
You surprised?
Hold on, Skip, I thought you were playing. He really sees himself as a superstar, don't he?
Did you see the hat he had on? Did you see that giant 3 on his hat? That's his number. That's how he sees himself, as a giant number 3. Go ahead.
Skip, you remember? I think it was Friday or Saturday. He said, I'm shouldering too much of the blame.
Yep, he did.
They were the worst defensive team per 100 possessions before I got back, and now it's my fault. What I'm starting to see about Isaiah Thomas is that he wants to be treated as a superstar. He wants superstar praise.
He does.
He wants superstar adulation. But he doesn't want superstar responsibility. He doesn't want superstar criticism.
He wants a superstar pass. Actually.
Yes.
He's not going to get one now.
No, of course not.
No.
What Isaiah fails to realize, that when you are a bad defensive basketball team, quick shots and turnovers are the last 2 things that you need. He keeps saying, Ty Lue put me in a situation to play to the best of my ability. Well, Ty Lue needs to put you in a situation that's going to play to the best, what's going to help the team's ability.
Yep.
Look at Kyle Korver last night playing with LeBron James. Look at Channing Frye playing last night with LeBron James. Jeff Green playing with LeBron James. That's not an accident, because LeBron James goes into a game trying to get guys shots. LeBron's like, I know I can get mine, so let me get Channing, let me get Kyle Korver, because Kyle Korver still has the most, 3-point shots made in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
But
Fourth Korver, right?
That's what we call him. But look at his numbers since you-know-who has been back. Look at Kevin Love's people thinking like, man, Kevin Love, terrible. Kevin Love is a 2010 guy before somebody came back and started shooting everything.
That's true.
Yes, stagger the minutes. What Isaiah Thomas doesn't understand, Skip, I got bad news for him. He's not getting a $200 million contract. Skip, he's not going to get a max contract. And so he thinks by scoring. The problem is that if he doesn't score those points, Skip, he adds no value. He's not going to rebound the ball. He's not going to play defense. Give him kudos yesterday. He dished out 7 assists. But
he scored 10 in the third quarter.
Third quarter.
And guess then what happened? He played 0 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Hey, look at the defense.
They
had LeBron on the court. They had Kyle Korver, who's not known for defense.
No.
Channing Frye, who's not known for defense.
Guess what, Detroit? They scored 17 in the fourth quarter.
29%. 29% field goal percentage, 30% from 3. With those guys on the court. And the lead that was 4 ended up being what, Skip? 17. It ain't none of my business, though, Joy. Y'all can do with this what you want to, Ty Lue, but I'm telling you, look at old plus minus old LeBron. LeBron got an 18 plus minus. Isaiah got 4. Yeah. What he fails to realize, Skip, it's not about what he did in Boston. Because what did they bring me here to do? Not to shoot? Isaiah, newsflash, you're not compared to what you did in Boston last year.
No.
You're compared to Kyrie.
That is correct.
Those are the 2 pieces that were swapped.
Yep.
So that's what you're compared to. And if you look at Kyrie, there's some nights he needs 40, he'll go get 40. There's some nights he only needs 18 to 20, and he'll go get that. Kyrie.
Now you like Kyrie.
Kyrie I've always liked Kyrie.
Well, but now you're applauding and lauding Kyrie.
I've always.
What he is.
He's always been a
Was
big.
he not special on Saturday night?
Yeah, he was
So
special.
was Steph. He was
what
great.
You mean, not just Saturday night. Skip, the man averaged 29 points a game last year in five NBA Finals games. We know what Kyrie Irving is.
Well,
but
he was Unk before.
Yeah, he's still.
Now he's
Kyrie. Kyrie. I'm on. But here's the thing, though, Skip. That's what Isaiah doesn't understand. He keeps thinking that he needs to do what he did in Boston. Skip, tell me the player that was in Boston last year. That's LeBron James. Dude.
Well, don't ask Isaiah that.
They just overachieved last year around this little 5'9" man who played no defense, and he was big-hearted, made a bunch of big fourth-quarter shots, and I admire that. That doesn't translate into LeBron's team.
No.
Nope, it does not. So, briefly, before I get to your points, just let's frame last night. Let's not overreact to the competition last night because Detroit was playing back-to-back. The Pistons had gotten blown out at home the night before. And Coach Van Gundy, as in Stan Van Gundy, I don't know what possesses him. Sometimes he just goes a little crazy. And he threw 3 new guys into the starting lineup because they did not. Reggie Jackson's out. Avery Bradley got hurt in the game before. So there's no Avery Bradley. And he throws in an Anthony Tolliver, who played a season-high 40 minutes, who was undrafted out of Creighton. He's now his 10th season. And then Ish Smith got thrown into the game last night for Langston Galloway. I don't know why. He was undrafted out of Wake Forest.
Tolliver gave him 20. He's averaging 6 points a game. He gave you 20.
Okay, and he made, I think, 5
5
threes
of 8
in the first half. And then Reggie Bullock was in the starting lineup last night. And
4 of 6 from 3.
Yeah, but for his career, he's averaged 4 points and 2 rebounds. So the point is, I don't even know who those guys. I'm watching the game. I'm like, who is that? Who's that guy? And they're throwing in some guy, Dwight Bikes. I don't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is, but he played a bunch of minutes. He played 20 minutes last night. But all told, that Detroit lineup, that team hung in, and it was a 1-point game with 6:20 to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And to LeBron's credit, he and his new crew took over.
Yes.
And they went on a 23-7 run to close the game. And I'm going to give LeBron big credit for his fourth quarter because he's been pretty bad in second halves during the losing streak. But he went for 9 points and 5 assists in the fourth quarter because of fourth Korver and guys he trusted.
Channing
They
Frye.
were cashing in his
Yeah.
passes. Kyle Korver hit 2 big threes in that run.
Yeah.
So that's when they are at their best. I will also warn you about this. Your team is living and dying once again from the 3-point line because last night they made 15 of 35, which is 43%. That'll work. You're going to win a bunch of games doing that. And Friday night they survived because LeBron actually had a quadruple.
Yeah, we ain't talking about
Wait a
Friday night.
second.
No, we ain't.
We got to bring this up
No, we
because
don't.
we have to watch what happened. The trajectory from Friday night to last night. It went from LeBron 11 turnovers. 11 turnovers. How do you do that?
You know how he do it.
I don't know. He just had a bad night.
He tried
I
to
guess.
make,
Yeah, so he goes from 11 turnovers to 3 last
That's
night.
what I'm talking about.
But what saved him on Friday night? That guy you had written off, that J.R. Smith guy?
Yeah, that's
A
right.
sighting.
Yeah.
He made 7 threes on Friday night, and he came right back last night and made a bunch of threes. They're all making threes, right?
But Skip, you know that's the way they built their team. They are
Okay,
3-point.
that's who they are.
Yes.
So when they are cooking from the 3-point line, they're pretty good.
Yes.
And obviously they still have LeBron James on offense, but they need to play a semblance of defense. And I give you this, against whatever that Detroit lineup was back to back,
Right.
maybe they were running out of gas a little bit in the fourth quarter, probably a lot. I give you that they rose and shone. That was one of the best quarters I've seen them play all year, even though it was still a basketball game with 6:20 to go. So we get to Isaiah's postgame, and he was asked, how'd you like playing no minutes in the fourth quarter. And what did he say? What do you want me to say? Well, he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be happy? This is the best rotation.
Yeah.
I give you this.
How about, hey, guys, we won. Think about it, Skip. We've seen in the playoffs.
He did say that at one point. He said, well, we won. Yep.
But Kevin, think about Kevin Love. How many times?
He sat.
In the playoff, Kevin Love has sat the entire fourth quarter.
Yep.
Kyrie, last year
That's
against
true.
Indiana,
That's
he
true.
sat in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
But this guy, I need to, no, you don't. Because here's the thing. If you don't play defense to begin with, Skip, you can't turn the ball over. You can't take bad shots because that makes your defense. Because remember the Eagles? The Eagles' defense wasn't that good. But guess what? Chip Kelly still wanted to run hurry up. Well, what good is you going three and out and putting the defense back on the field?
Okay.
Isaiah, you turning the ball up. We saw you the other night on the slip and slide. I thought the dude was a roll bounce. He just whoop.
And to be fair, is he completely 100% healthy? Probably not.
Well, we need to manage his minutes then.
Okay.
We want him to get 100% completely healthy. So he needs to play like 25 minutes a night.
So is me, myself, and Isaiah Thomas going to be happy sitting every fourth quarter?
I don't care.
Is
We
he?
trying to win. Skip,
No.
We trying to win games, not feelings award.
Yep.
He all into his. I get it. I mean, he's been undersized. He's been doubted his whole life. You're not going to play high school ball. You're not going to play college ball. You're not going to play in the NBA. I get all of that, of always having that chip on your shoulder. But the way he played last year in Boston is not conducive for how he should play this year in Cleveland if he wants to win. But it appears to me he's more interested in stats, in getting a max contract than winning basketball.
I agree. So, in hindsight, in retrospect, Isaiah Thomas should have walked in the door the first day and, at least to the media, shown a humble side. As in, this is LeBron's team, and I'm just happy to be here, and I'm going to try to find my place. Because when Kevin Love was sat in fourth quarters last year, did you hear a peep out of him?
Never.
Nope. Kyrie, not a peep out of him.
No.
He would sacrifice himself for the good of LeBron or for the team, whatever. And in this case, Isaiah walked in the door talking like it was already his team, as in, I'm the co-star, I'm the co-leader of the team now. No, you're not.
No,
you've earned nothing.
No, Kevin Love is the second best player on the Cavaliers. So he should get the second most shots. Not you, Isaiah. Isaiah think this 2 year, I guess he wants us to forget the previous 4 years, the years in Sacramento, the years in Phoenix, and just look at the last 2 years in Boston.
Yep.
You're not a better player than Kevin Love because if Kevin Love doesn't score, he still can rebound the basketball.
Man.
Isaiah, if you don't give a team 20-plus points, but here's the thing. Look how many shots he's taking him. Look how many bad shots he's putting up.
Agreed.
He came down last night. It's 1-on-4. Everybody's back for the Detroit Pistons except one guy. The Cavaliers are still, he jacks up a three. And then he's talking about, hold up a hand, talking about my bad. Yeah, we know it's your bad. Who you think, I'm going to take responsibility for you shooting? No, it wasn't. I apologize. I fought Tristan Thompson. You shouldn't have passed it to him, Tristan. You already know what he was going to do with it.
That is
It's
correct.
better than Kevin Love. He's Kyrie. He's Chris Paul. He's James Harden.
He believed it, Skip. He actually.
He's not as great as LeBron, but he's.
He said that, well, how did he phrase
He's
it?
closer to LeBron is
closer to greatness.
LeBron is closer to greatness than I am, but we're two great players.
What?
LeBron got a new teammate I don't know about? They must be traded for Anthony Davis or something.
I don't know.
Because he's talking about two great players. No, they got one great player.
So I love the fit and the fix last night.
Yeah.
I want to see it against a better team, and I want to see Isaiah shut up and swallow this, and I don't think he will.
He can't, Skip.
No.
He can't because he playing for a max contract, which I don't see. I don't see someone saying, okay, Isaiah, we're going to give you 5 years, 180. We're going to give you 5 years, 190.
Can't fault him for playing for it, though. Next up, the Thunder won their 8th straight yesterday at home against the Sixers. In the first quarter, Joel Embiid had a huge dunk and stare down on Russell Westbrook. But Russ got the win and finished with 37 points. He then stared down Embiid as time ran out. Let's take a listen to Russ after the game.
Why do you think the 2 games against Philly this season have been as high energy as they were?
Not sure. Obviously, triple overtime there kind of picked up that, and then leading into this game after a little talk after game 1, leading to this game, kind of was looking forward to it, but Oklahoma City 2-0.
After the game, Embiid posted an image of his dunk on Russ with the caption, Tough loss, #the process. And then the location is listed as a crime scene investigation.
That's funny.
What did the Russ Embiid beef say to you?
Joel Embiid is the biggest troll
He is.
in Twitter.
He's got some creativity.
Yeah, in internet history.
Yeah.
Skip, this is, as Russ, first of all, any game that Russ comes into is going to be high energy. So I don't know how you're going to play, but I know how he's going to play.
Agreed.
So it's going to be high energy. But it started in the first game in Philly. They went triple overtime. And if you remember, as the time was running out then, Russ told Embiid, take your home.
He did.
Take your home.
He did.
And, and Embiid said, they got the win. It was a tough loss for us, but we'll see them again.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just picked right up where they left off from. I have no problem with this. Good old, they don't see each other but twice a year. Mm-hmm. I wish they were in the same conference so we could get this, 4, 5, 6 times.
So do I.
We can get a bunch of this.
Yep.
We don't normally it's guard, bigs. Mm-hmm. We don't normally see a 7'2" guy going up against a 6'3" guy. Mm-mm. But Russell Westbrook's not backing down from anybody. He's not taking junk from no one.
Nobody.
So if you think you're going to punk him,
Yep.
that dog ain't going to hunt that day. Mm-hmm. I love Oklahoma City now, Skip. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Robertson tearing that patella tendon because they had 2 elite-level wing defenders. Robertson and Paul George could lock you down. Steve Adams, sometimes call him Shaq Adams because sometimes he's a monster inside.
Last night he was.
And that's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
For him to bang, you to bang with Embiid. But they figured it out. Russ, do you, and we're going to follow behind you. Mm-hmm. Now, this is they got 2 and 3 options that they didn't have last year. So this is a very, very dangerous team. But when Russ does Russ things, and he's not concerned about, I need to get Paul 20 shots, and I need to get Melo 20 shots. Mm-hmm. When he just goes out and plays his game, they're going to be a tough out. Now, can they, Houston is, right now they're challenging for that 3rd seed. Because
just 2 games behind San Antonio with no Kawhi.
Right. Because I believe, Golden State and Houston's kind of separated themselves. Mm-hmm. So basically it's San Antonio, Minnesota, OKC for the 3rd seed. Because what you're trying to do is avoid the Warriors in the 2nd round.
I agree.
At all costs. Mm-hmm. So if I can do that, I feel good. I don't want to face that monster until I absolutely have to. Mm-hmm. I ain't trying to see him any earlier than I need to. But I love what Embiid and Westbrook. I love them going at each other. Westbrook is not the media type guy, so I don't assume he's going to come back at Joel on social media. No. But Embiid will come back with something else. This is who he is. I got no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Russ said it all. 2-0 Oklahoma City. That's all he needs to say. Period. End of story. Next game. Right?
But you heard his lips in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Take your home.
He did. He did. So, back to the top of this discussion, I did appreciate, I respected that when Joel Embiid, who is a monster, who just gets better by the dribble.
Yes.
He gets better by the post on social media, too, but he gets better by the dribble. And he breaks free down the lane, and most 6'3" guys would say, thank you very much, I'm out, and they would exit the post.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And at least Russell Westbrook had the guts or the savvy to try to take the flop charge, right?
Yes.
He stood in and took a little bit of a shot. Mm-mm. And I thought he got close to getting the flop charge. It was close.
What he got? A poster.
Well, okay, but again, he posted a poster. But I think most people will respect the fact that at least Russ, it's not like he tries to go up and block the shot and gets just crushed at the rim. That's how you get on the poster. This is just like, I'm going to try to do a Ginobili here. I'm going to try to fake out the referee and flop a little bit and get the charge. And I think the referee might have hesitated for just a second, had to think about it.
It should have been a charge because Russ was in.
I think he got
outside. He got outside. He got outside the restricted area.
Okay, but it was a savvy play by a gutsy guy. And I'm going to say, you know how much I love Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who was the all-time competitor in any sport I've ever seen, as far as game after game after game. Mm-hmm. This guy Russell Westbrook, plays harder. It's as close to Michael as I've ever seen. But I've never seen anybody play as hard every single possession of every single night the way Russell Westbrook did.
I don't know how you does it either. Skip.
Like last night, it's Philly, and Philly's been on a little bit of a roll because they're coming, man. Yeah. They're getting better and better under Brett Brown, and all of a sudden, Russ says, okay, watch this. And he played it like it was Game 7 last night, from start to finish. He was, again, his cage had gotten rattled by Joel, but still, I'm looking at what, to your point about what Russell Westbrook has done. What are they up to now? 8-0. They've won their last 8. Mm-hmm. And what happened was the sea change you talked about. Russell Westbrook finally said, heck with it, or as he would probably say, hell with it.
Yep.
I'm just going to do this. And these guys can go along for the ride, or they can find wherever fit they want to find.
Get in where you fit in.
Yeah, Melo can shoot some spot-up threes if he wants to here and there.
Yeah.
And Paul George can play a little defense and be my sidekick, and he's a little better co-star or sidekick than Oladipo. I know Oladipo's having a terrific year back in Indiana. I get that.
Oladipo needs to be a lead.
He does, okay? But in this case, Paul George, as you say, can defend.
Yeah.
And he's ranked 21st in defensive win shares. By the way, Russell Westbrook is defending at a supreme level. He's ranked 12th in the league in defensive win shares.
Yeah.
So Andre Robertson, he's ranked 2nd in the league in defensive win shares. So are they going to miss him? Sure they are.
Absolutely.
But are they going to miss the fact that Robertson is shooting 32% from the free throw line? From the free throw line?
You remember
I mean,
last
that's
year,
worse
Hacker
than any big man.
You remember how
I
Houston
know.
got back in the
I
game
know.
to Hacker Robertson?
Yeah. And he's shooting 22% from the three-point line. So last year in the playoffs, occasionally he'd make a three, and I'd say, oh, that because they just dare him to shoot threes. So at least that liability is gone from the offensive end, right? At least you can replace it a little bit. And with with Russell and Paul George playing better defense, and by the way, Paul George is now leading the NBA in steals. That'll work.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm starting to like this team a little better than I liked it last year, even without Andre Robertson, who will be missed.
But see, the thing is with Robertson, Skip, if you go against Golden State, you need somebody to be able to do something with KD, Steph, and Clay. Mm-hmm. So you got Paul George. Okay, you know Paul George would probably grab KD. Robertson could D up on Clay or maybe Steph. That's the problem that you have. They got so many, that three-headed monster. And everybody can't play lockdown defense on the wing like these two guys can. Mm-hmm. And so they light you up. And that's the thing. Two guys can be dormant. And what we saw with the Golden State and Boston, Kevin Durant had an off-shooting night, 7 of 18. Klay Thompson was 3 of 11, 7 points. He normally averages 22. But then Steph goes bonkers. He goes for 49. Okay. That's what you're up against.
But at least now, on your side, you've got Carmelo Anthony, who's not Carmelo anymore, but he has some presence and mystique.
He's still gonna get
he's got
20.
some star power to him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And here, ladies and gentlemen, is my conclusion about what's happening to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Guess who I think is going to win another MVP, a back-to-back? I think Russell Westbrook's on his way now. I think he just might average another triple-double because once they figured it out, or once he just said, get out of my way, I got this, and they've won 8 in a row, you don't think this is going to continue through the second half of this basketball season? You don't think he's going to be right in the middle?
Guy, because everybody's going to say, LeBron James is averaging 27, 10, and 8, playing with that guy. They're stealing all the cheese.
After what they just went through?
Yeah.
I think he just disqualified
himself.
No.
Huh? We're going to trade him.
Hey.
We'll trade it right now for Boogie.
Okay. Well, Boogie's done.
That's what I'm trading. Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
Even though Boogie's done, we'll still trade him for Boogie.
Well, you better watch Russell Westbrook. I think he's on an MVP tear, and I think he's on a triple-double tear. Here he comes.
He's playing well. I mean, he's gotten his scoring average up to like 26, 27 points a game.
Yeah.
He's right at double-digit in assists again.
You're just saying LeBron because you don't want to pick Westbrook.
Oh, Westbrook's unbelievable.
He is unbelievable.
He's brought, in the last 8 games, he's brought his name back into the MVP discussion.
We really haven't had a clear front-running MVP so far.
Well, it was James Harden, and then he missed those 2 weeks with the hamstring. And then, Giannis is here, comes and goes. It's going to be interesting. This is really a toss-up right now.
No mercy. Warriors beat the Celtics 109-105 in a possible finals preview on Saturday. Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving both had huge games. Steph hit 8 three-pointers on his way to 49 points. And Kyrie finished with 37. The Warriors have the best record in the NBA with the Celtics at the top of the East. We're joined once again by Matt Barnes. Matt, which team would be a bigger challenge to the Warriors, the Celtics or the Cavs?
A part of me wants to say the Celtics because I see the way they're playing, their chemistry. They really look like they're hitting on all cylinders. But right now, like I said, it's January, and they haven't been there. So it's hard for me, like your last segment talking about Tom Brady, it's just hard for me to go against LeBron. I said in March and April when the Cavs hit their stride, I don't think anyone would remember all the stuff we're talking about right now. So to me, Their biggest threat is still the Cavs.
And you know Bron gonna swing a deal. You know Bron gonna make something happen. Since he's been back, when has he not made something happen, Skip? Always do. But this was unbelievable. This was one of the best games I've seen this year, Skip. Kyrie Irving, one-on-one, he is phenomenal. But Steph Curry make me sick shooting the ball the way he shoots. I'm sick of him shooting 35 and 40-footers in people's face.
Like it's nothing.
Skip, the man come down, they're up 1 point. And he comes down 3 feet in front of the top of the key, three-point line, and lets it go and starts running back up court. That's not fair. And they got all these guys on one team. Here's the thing, Skip. If you tell me that Klay Thompson's going to go 3 for 11 and score 7 points when he normally averages 22, if you tell me Kevin Durant's going to score 20 and go 7 of 18, I say, okay, Boston got a great chance. But even then, because you got a guy that can go get you 50, what Steph did got 49. If Steph's off, KD can go get you 50. If Steph and KD's off, Klay can go get you 43.
You hit it.
That's what you up against. That's why it's so hard to beat them 4 times in 2 weeks. Because if Kyrie's not going, first of all, if Kyrie wasn't doing what he's doing, they lose by 25. But Kyrie got it going, and we've seen him when he gets it going, especially when he goes against those guys. Kyrie he's a guy, the bigger the moment, the bigger the stage, the bigger he will play. And if it's another guy on the other team that everybody's talking about, and everybody's talking about how Steph has come back and letting the ball go, Kyrie said, okay, we'll hold this right quick. That move that he put on Steph in the corner, between the legs, fake to the left, behind the back, and spin him.
Nobody else can do that.
Nobody. First of all, nobody else is going to attempt that. But we got this move. I ain't going to tell you what me and Matt were talking about off air. We got this power move that's going to happen, Skip. And when it happens, the dynamic, the earth will shift just a little bit. It's going to be trouble.
I should have warned you not to say
anything. It's good. I already knew this. I got eyes and ears everywhere.
Do you?
Yeah.
On Twitter?
No. This here better than Twitter. A power move coming, Skip.
Well, silly me, and I know it was just late January, and to Matt's point, haven't even gotten to that stretch run yet. That looked and felt like a finals preview to me. That's what it felt like when I finally turned my television off. I said, wow.
That was a ball game.
That was a showcase of a show that those two put on. And to Kevin Durant's credit, he said after the game, and you know these guys very well, when that starts happening, you just get out the way. That's what he said. He got out of the way. And to his credit, it's not that easy for a man of that stature, the finals MVP, to say, I'm out, you guys do this. I'm going to watch this one.
Handle it.
Well, that's what sets this team apart is all 3 of those guys will do that. And I've seen them do it at different times. You know, where Klay wasn't scoring that much in the finals, but guarding Kyrie. It's one night. If 2 stars have a night off, any one of those guys can get you 60. And no other team in the world can do that. If Kyrie has an off night last year in the finals, it's a sweep. You know what I mean? If Kyrie has an off night here, they lose by 50. And I think the Warriors' principle is that we had a hard time stopping them last year. Everyone has a hard time stopping them. You're willing to give up 60 to Kyrie as long as the Warriors win.
Right.
You know, Kyrie's numbers don't matter if you don't win. Right. So, hell of a guy to stop. Probably the best one-on-one player in the game. But like I said, any given night, Steph, Klay, or KD can give you 50 or 60 points, and that's going to set them over the top.
But we're deep enough into this basketball season. I believe that Boston's ability to defend is not an aberration or a fluke. I don't think so. I think it's real.
Yeah.
And I think that young head coach is pretty good at what he does on the defensive end.
Very good.
Okay?
And they're playing with the chip on their shoulder. They're
They
playing
are.
a real
and
tough,
and
tight-minded team.
He has assembled a bunch of pieces that are interchangeable. Long pieces. All of a sudden, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they kind of look like the same guy. They can defend.
That's what makes them so good, because they got Tatum, they got Rozier, they got Smart, they got all.
The other night, they didn't have Smart, but go ahead.
But here's the thing, though. I'll give Kyrie 37. I'll give him 40. But I ain't going to give him 11 assists. I'll give him 4 assists. And see, therein lies the dilemma. See, the problem with you deal with LeBron go get you 40 and still give you 12. And that's what
the 40, but
don't do that, Skip Bayless. Did you see the 57 when he was at the Smithsonian? He said he wanted to go see the Black History Museum at the Smithsonian.
Is LeBron going to hang 57 on Golden State? Is that what you're saying?
Well, we've seen him put 40. We've seen him put 44, 41. Do you not remember when Kyrie was down and Kevin Love was out? And then the second best player on his roster was Dellavedova. Think about, I want you to let that sink in just
He's
for a
in
second.
his 15th year, and I see night after night he's starting to run out of a little gas.
You see, so did you see last night? That 25 and 14? He having an affair with Miss Triple Dub right under Savannah's nose. Because he at work. She don't know. She just think he at work. And he out there on a date with Miss Triple Dub.
Detroit started Anthony Tolliver, Reggie Bullock, and Ish Smith back-to-back after getting blown out by Oklahoma City and Detroit. And you're going to take that to your LeBron bank?
I'm taking it. They're in the NBA.
Okay.
I think what sets Golden State obviously apart is you can build a team on paper. Houston, Boston, Cleveland getting a trade before the trade deadline. But what sets Golden State apart is their chemistry. So you can have an amazing team on paper, but the chemistry on and off the court has to be A1. And that's what, to me, is going to put Golden State, for another ring and have everyone else just looking up for a while because their chemistry is second to none.
Because they all can play without the ball. They don't need the ball because Steph Curry will keep moving, and then as soon as I got Steph, there's Clay wide open for a three in the corner, and then you still got that guy.
Are you a Golden State fan?
No, I know it. No. But when the rubber meets the road, there are times last year when Cleveland was making that push, and I saw a 7-foot guy say, hey, come see me. I know you're the two-time MVP. Clay, I know you got 60 in 30 minutes, but come see your boy over here in this post.
Matt Barnes, what was happening in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals at Oakland in the third quarter? I think the Spurs were ahead by 23. Do you remember that moment? And your guy, Zaza, the cheap shot, stepped on the ankle of one Kawhi Leonard.
Things happen.
That was the end of it. I don't know. That would have been an interesting series from that point forward, right? So what were they doing to get ahead by 23 in the third quarter at Oakland?
They're just a well-oiled machine. They're a team, similar to the Patriots where you plug pieces in. As long as you have your stars, you can plug anybody in and they're going to be effective. And Kawhi, a healthy Kawhi is a top talent, top 3, 4, 5, maybe at the latest in the world, you know what I mean, for him. So his ability to guard KD, Steph, or Clay at any time and not shut him down, but make him earn it, and then at the same time come back and drop 30. Not too many teams have that. No one else in the league has a Kawhi Leonard. So, I think.
And plus, y'all was on vacation for 2 weeks. Y'all were a little rusty, but y'all around in the shape. It'd have been the Warriors in 5. So you win the 1. You won 1 game, and they'd have got you the rest of them. It'd have been a gentleman's sweep.
It's just tough. Like I said, anytime you're never going to catch all 3 guys off on Golden State. You're never going to catch. You can catch 2 of them off or 2.5 off, but one of them can have a 20-point quarter, not a game, a 20-point quarter. And then you have Andre Iguodala and David West and Nick Young.
And then you get Draymond getting a triple dub on you.
Yeah, Draymond. Behind the scenes, Draymond is the one that it makes that not only the team but the organization. He holds everyone accountable, from the coaches, owners, players. He makes that team go. So he has his rah-rah and his toughness and his playmaking ability and his smartness on the court, and everyone else just plays, and no one cares who scores. If Steph scores 50, it's great. Next night it could be Clay. Next night it could be KD. So it doesn't really matter.
Draymond need a raise because he's the reason that KD came there after LeBron busted him up. You heard about that, You heard about that, Matt? He was in the shower, wouldn't even take a shower. Put a towel on and left the locker room after LeBron had did what he did in Game 7.
That's myth.
Ain't no myth. So now it's a myth.
Every time you tell that story, there's another layer to
Is
it.
that Trump fake news?
Yeah, that's real news.
Fake news.
Didn't even call his mom to tell him what happened.
Yeah, right.
KD,
Did you get a fake news award?
No.
On that list? No.
LeBron did it to him.
Matt, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Anything possible.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.